So I thought I'd make this video about the sad news that Modo is no more. Well, albeit there's a free license, a 10-year license or something, the Foundry have decided to stop development, which is sad. I mean, Modo was my main modeling tool. I used to try and do everything in Modo, and then realized it was just great at modeling, so just keep do the modeling, and and then basically I rendered and animated in Blender, right? And but the thing is, I think the Modo was finding itself between Blender and Maya, and the choice between free and expensive, and where did it fit in? It's a shame. I mean, I go Modo and Amigo way back. Well, there's the Lightwave connection. Sort of. I was a Lightwave user, and then I switched to Modo for my modeling, and because it seemed more modern at the time, and it was more modern approach, just a different way of doing things, bit more updated to I guess there was sort of more miry. You had your handles and things. You didn't have handles in Lightwave. But yeah, yeah, sad. Just I'm kind of thinking, well, what am I gonna, where am I gonna be modeling? And the problem that I found with modeling in Blender is that I just make really messy geometry. I mean, maybe I haven't got my modeling etiquette down or whatever, but I just would end up with duplicate faces and just horrible geometry, which it was never a problem in Modo or Lightwave because there were lots of ways you could make sure that you didn't have any jank in the model, right? And it was very easy, and you could see straight away if there were problems, and that's why I like to. Well, I mean, I also like the direct modeling approach as opposed to the kind of modifier approach where it's just you have a stack of things, and I like to just be able to grab the points directly. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have to have a bit of a. I mean, I guess I could carry on just using Modo. It doesn't really, but it's that whole thing of like, well, yeah, there'll be new, like there'll be that, there'll be some new modeling paradigm, sign distant field or something, and you think, oh, I want to give that a go. Um, but I guess my go-to for hard surface now is going to be plasticity, and that's exactly what I thought I'd use. And I literally used Modo to model something last week, a prop for a CGI prop for a movie. Um, and I initially thought, I'll do it in plasticity because I want all the kind of what you call it parasolid NURBS magic. And then I sort of was thinking, I'm not getting what I want. It's just taking longer than I need it to take. I'm going to use Mesh Fusion. The kind of hack, the sub D, almost, well, almost parametric modeling, kind of. Get the bevels and all that. So, and I used it, and it was great. It's perfect. I mean, I know Mesh Fusion originally was another application, which I forget exactly the name. Um, which will probably carry on in another go, but it's just, yeah, it was, yeah, it's a shame. Like XSI going away was a shame. It's I guess less choice, and as great as Blender is, it's a bit clunky in places. When you compare it to purpose-built commercial applications for a specific function, which is slightly unfair because obviously it's a community-driven project. Um, then you can kind of say, oh, there's a few more steps or a few more clicks to do whatever, but you have to kind of, I mean, to fully on board with something, you have to kind of embrace, well, give it a chance at least, and just because it's sort of there's so much to. But yeah, I mean, well, so getting back to the Modo situation, I mean, yeah, I'd say Maya one end, Blender the other. How any other 3D app is going to compete. Just, I mean, it was my favorite modeling tool, and now it's going away, and I'm going to have to find some sort of replacement. And maybe the thing is to be hyper specific at what Modo was good at. we'll try and do it in Blender, but I just like, I could never gonna get really clean geometry in Blender, and I was a bit like, oh, this is, I can do it faster, and I know exactly what's going on with the geometry, and maybe it's just my reluctance to get familiar with the modeling in Blender, but it's sort of, yeah, I mean, and I guess, well, I mean, Lightwave is still around now that it's been acquired into its own thing. So I could go back to Lightwave, I suppose. Um, because they're not worlds apart. But what would I mean? It would the best thing that would happen is that Modo would go open source, and then Blender would like raid its uh, modeling functionality or paradigm. That would be such an immense thing, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen because of the whole, it's probably all like tied up in patents and custom code or what that can't be, that was paid for and licensed and can't be publicly released, which is a shame. That would be the best thing I think. Would be if they could open source it, but it's probably not possible to do so. So yeah, on that note, I'm curious if anyone's watching my channel. To what do you like to model in? Just forget about all whatever it is. I mean, I quite like ZBrush. That's quite fun to model in, and I quite like plasticity. That's quite fun. I mean, they're very different programs. They're both quite fun to model in. So what do you like? Just put it in the comments. Okay, I'll stop the video. Oh yeah, well I'm still on this VFX job. Well, that was it's I've got another 3 weeks, but after the whole Modo thing, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to make a video. So okay, that's it.